Hello there, and welcome to our informational presentation on the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts. My name is Neil McChesney. I'm the founder and executive director of SPA, and it's my pleasure to share some information with you via this virtual presentation. We wish we could see you on campus and hope that that actually happens in the near future. But in the meantime, we'll engage via our computers. Tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, depending upon when you're watching this, we'll talk about some general introductions to the people that are going to be sharing in this presentation and also the SPA community as a whole. I'm going to cover a brief background on charter schools. I think it's important that everybody understands what a charter school is and what it isn't, so that you can make informed decisions about being a part of our school community. And then we'll be joined by a couple other folks who will talk about the SPA program and the enrollment process. Speaking of those other folks, the people that will be sharing the presentation with me are our principal, Dr. Robert Shawwell, and our Director of Community Engagement, Miss Lisa Kingsbury, who you will meet in brief. Of course, when it comes to a school community, the administrators, the people that are going to be talking at you in this presentation, is not really who we are. Certainly a part of that, but our community, our identity as a school is made up of the various kinds of people that we serve and that we engage with on a regular basis. People like Miss Dees here, who recently wrote in an endorsement of SPA about how far their family commutes before COVID to and from our school on a daily basis, because that's how much their family values the SPA program. Or people like young Miss Martin here, one of our current 7th graders, who articulated her appreciation of the real world work that we do in our SPA classrooms, both arts and academics. Or perhaps someone like Miss Amy Hyatt, one of our founding team members, social science teacher, and also just a wonderful human being, someone that some of your students may have one day as a teacher, who talks about how she fell in love with this school community almost 5 years ago when we were founded. That's really our identity, the people that we serve, the kind of folks that we're trying to grow as a school. To talk a little bit more about our SPA students, if you look at our mission, which Dr. C will share momentarily, there's this duality of the artist and the scholar, the arts and the academics. And really, we're about bringing those two things together in this happy marriage, manifested as our artist scholars. That's what we call our kiddos once they become SPA students. And I think it speaks to the work that they do and the mindset that will enable them to succeed. We've been a growing school since our inception 5 years ago. In 16-17 is when we opened our doors. This year, 2021, we're sitting at around 462 students. And next year, we'll be growing to just over 500. We are serving now grades 6 through 12. Our first 3 years, we kind of grew up to that. We opened our doors with grades 6 through 10. But we've graduated 2 senior classes now in 18-19 and 19-20, and working on our 3rd this year. We also serve quite a diverse population at SPA, something we're very proud of and was part of our mission from the get-go. To illustrate that, this map can show you just how far some of our students travel to come to our school, both in cars and via public transits, or those that walk down the street from their local community home. And we love that kind of energy and diversity in our campus, reflected both in our students and our staff. But we really are a school for the entire county and beyond. Speaking of staff, SPA has a team of almost 50 employees, the lion's share of which are teachers, both in arts and academics. We are a very tight-knit group. We talk about SPA as a family often, and our teachers and our other staff members are at the core of that family unit. There are groups of student services team members represented here, special education, of course, our administrative team, and at the top, our governing board. The group of stakeholders not represented in that last graphic, of course, are our parents, incredibly important partners for us in the learning program here at SPA. Parents are engaged in our school on an everyday basis, doing things from helping to facilitate food service during our lunch period, parents volunteer for that, to creating their own nonprofit 501c3 parent organization, which was very artistically titled Ensemble, fundraising, community engagement efforts, and a variety of other volunteer opportunities are facilitated through that group. We love our parents, and they are, again, important partners in the work that we do. And finally, at the top of that org chart that I showed just a slide or two ago, SPA has its own school board, a governing board. Just like a bigger school district, we are a school district with one school almost. And we have an appointed board made up of community members and parents that makes the final kind of governing decisions for our organization. They also established and maintain a variety of standing committees focused on the important work that our school does. And they're accessible and readily engaged with our everyday operations at SPA. Pivoting now to a quick tutorial on charter schools, something I'm very passionate about. Again, I think it's important that prospective families understand a little bit about charter schools. So quick video to start that process.
The charter school movement in California is growing at a rapid pace. There are more than 900 charters in California, serving more than 365,000 students. But what is a charter school? Charter schools are innovative public schools designed by educators, parents, or civic leaders. They cut through the red tape that binds conventional public schools. In exchange for that freedom, charters are held accountable by their authorizing body, usually a school board, the County Office of Education, or the State Board of Education, and by the parents who choose to send their children to those schools. Charter schools are tuition-free public schools that are open to all who want to enroll. They cannot discriminate based on disability, national origin, age, or gender. Charter schools expand options for parents, students, teachers, and administrators through their unique focus, curriculum, structure, size, environment, and other features that put the needs of students first. They're places where adults work together to build a professional culture, places where teachers and parents have a strong voice in school decisions. To find out more about charter schools or to find a school near you,
So some of the basics there. This video is actually a few years old now. There are more than 1,200 charter schools currently operating in the state of California, serving more than 600,000 students, which is quite a testament to the journey the charter school movement has gone on. If you want to look back at the beginning of the history of that movement, it started in 1992 when California became the second state in the nation to pass legislation describing what charter schools are about and what they aimed to achieve. This is language from that Charter Schools Act, which is now memorialized in Education Code 47605. Without having to read the entire part to it, you can see those bold and underlined words as really capturing the most important intent of the legislation. First and foremost, it was about improving pupil learning by increasing opportunities and choice for families and educators, innovating, experimenting, trying new models and methods, and being held accountable for results, but at the same time creating competition within the public school system, critically important, where before there had been a monopoly of just the district option. So that's kind of the basics of the Charter Schools Act. A little bit longer than this, but you get the essential points. For those that want to try to start a charter school, it is something that anybody out there can do. And it begins with writing a petition. That petition includes these 15 requisite elements. And effectively, this is a plan for how you are going to do school. Everything from the educational program, the kinds of instruction methodology your teachers are going to use, who your employees will be, all the way down through the end, element 15 there, how you might close your school if it ever came to that. It is an exhaustive process that takes quite a lot of time. The SPA charter petition, original petition set at just under 400 pages, and the newest version, the renewal petition, is slightly shorter than that, but still quite a heavy read. There are some important elements here. You can find the petition on our website, and feel free to check it out. You take that document, that plan for how you're going to run school, and you submit it to an authorizing body. At the lowest level, that's your local school district. And then there's also the county district or county Office of Education, Board of Education that can approve charter schools. And it's kind of like a proposed contract. Here's how we are proposing to do school, how we're going to operate, the goals that we intend to achieve, the systems we will enact, and you, our authorizer, in turn will hold us accountable for the results. You need a formal action of approval to be able to start your charter school, and that requires a vote of one of those authorizing bodies. For the Contra Costa County Office, or excuse me, for the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts petitioners, our authorizer is the Contra Costa County Board of Education. Despite the fact that charters have been around for quite some time, nearly 3 decades in California, there's still quite a lot of misunderstanding, misconception, especially in parts of the states where you don't find a heck of a lot of charter schools. And I would say Contra Costa is an example of that. West Contra Costa certainly has more than Central Contra Costa where we're located, but on the aggregate, far less than other counties in the Bay Area, Alameda County, or down south in LA, where you have nearly as many charter school options as public school options in some communities. So I'm going to attempt to try to dispel some of the most widespread myths or misunderstandings that are out there about charters. So first one, the thing that I hear every day, even sometimes at the end of my presentations about our charter school, how much does it cost to go to this school? Or how do I get into this school? Are you guys a private charter or a public charter? Well, here's the bottom line, folks. There's no such thing as a private charter school because all charter schools are public schools. By definition, as part of the law that created them, they are a part of the public school system. They cannot charge tuition. They cannot discriminate about who enters their school or cherry pick students. If there are more applications than there are spots, you have to have a random drawing or a lottery in order to determine who gets in. So charter schools are public schools, period, end of story. Okay, myth number 2. Charter schools are a flash in the pan experiment, here today, gone tomorrow. Also fundamentally not true. I mean, here we are 30 years almost after the inception of the Charter Schools Act, and we're still very much talking about charter schools. In fact, there has been consistent growth in the number of charter schools over the course of those 3 decades. Again, more than 1,200 operating in the state of California currently. And in continuing numbers of students and families on wait lists trying to get into schools on an annual basis, speaking to the demand for choice within the public system in communities across our state. There's also data to suggest that on the average, charter schools are outperforming many of their colleagues in the district system. Okay, last potential myth. It's the Wild West in charter schools. Nobody's paying attention and you can do whatever you want without any kind of accountability. Also fundamentally incorrect, misleading, untrue. This is a myth. In fact, I will go ahead and suggest that there is greater accountability for charter schools than their district school, public school counterparts. And I'll give you 2 pieces of evidence to support that contention. First, I talked about the fact that a charter petition is somewhat like a contract. And like any contract, there are terms that come with that agreement. In fact, every 5 years at maximum, charter schools have to go back to their authorizer to be renewed for a subsequent term. And during the process of that term, they're being monitored on an annual basis. They submit financial, academic, and school climate performance data. Their authorizer can even, in some cases, revoke their petition mid-term if they do something egregious. The point being, charter schools can go away if they are not successfully serving their community and meeting the goals that they enumerate. And that's not the case with your perhaps local school, district school. In fact, some of you might know of historically underperforming schools where not a lot changes despite the fact that they have failed their students and their families. So I like that about charter schools. I think that's greater accountability. The other point of evidence that I'll give for that accountability is that charter schools, as it says in this paragraph, are schools of choice. In other words, you, families, opt into our schools. You choose to enroll here. There's no automatic feeder pattern of kiddos that are coming from the local elementary school. And since we are a public school and funded the same way that all public schools are funded, our ability to balance a budget is completely dependent on maintaining that enrollment, which means that we need to make sure that we satisfy each of those families and meet their expectations. Because just like you can opt into our school, you can opt out at any time and decide to go back to the regular public district school, which has to accept you, or choose some other alternative educational path. And if we were to lose a bunch of families, the budget wouldn't work anymore for our school. Unlike a big district that can absorb that kind of attrition or churn or manage declining enrollment through other means, charter schools are directly accountable to the families they serve because their stability, their ongoing existence is dependent upon their satisfaction. Greater accountability for charter schools, in my opinion, certainly a myth that they are not held accountable. At the end of the day, I am a fan, I'm a proponent, I'm a founder of charter schools because I believe choice is a right that all families should have. School choice existed long before charter schools did, but it was only afforded to those that could afford it, right? Private schools should not be the only option for school choice. All families, regardless of their socioeconomic status or other demographic information, should be able to make choices about what their student needs and what program works best for them. And I think that's good for everybody, including our district colleagues. So I'm a believer in charter schools, and I believe SPA represents an important choice for Contra Costa County and the families that we serve. Okay, that was my part of the presentation, and I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Chalwell, who will be talking about the SPA program. Our principal, Dr. Chalwell.
Thank you, Neil. As Neil mentioned, my name is Dr. Robert Chalwell, and I'm the principal of the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts, or as the SPA family calls me, Dr. C. And I will tell you a bit more about the SPA program as you consider having SPA be your school home for middle school or high school. Our mission at SPA is centered around pre-professional training and experiences in the performing arts as we prepare students for the 3 C's: college, career, or conservatory, if that's the path that you choose. We believe in fostering a culture of excellence with the core values of rigor, relevance, resilience, and relationships, which I'll tell you a bit more about shortly. Our vision is around quality instruction, which focuses on engaging and coherent and rigorous arts integrated curriculum in every classroom that facilitates learning and achievement and the 3 C's preparedness that I've already mentioned. We embrace and practice a personalized approach to teaching and learning, and using innovation, transformative tools, and technology to individualize learning for all students. At SPA, we believe in being a beacon of creative excellence and attracting dynamic and motivated students who are not only becoming the performers, professional performers of tomorrow, but also the creators of new and dynamic works that allow audiences to see themselves in different ways. We believe that as artist scholars, it is our responsibility of engaging more deeply, more profoundly in civic responsibility. We foster this in our students with a comprehensive character building program and curriculum that is delivered through our advisory, which meets every Monday and afford students a one-on-one mentoring session with their advisor each week. At SPA, we employ positive, professional, and productive educational team members who, whether it be in core subjects or through artistic disciplines, have engaged in the world and have practiced in the world and are committed to pouring into students all that they have learned and building in students the next generation expressions of artistic endeavor, as well as core subject expertise as well. At SPA, we believe that all students should be afforded and will be afforded access to standards-based core curriculum, which utilizes project-based learning to promote and develop innovative thinking, intellectual curiosity, communication skills, teamwork, personal and shared accountability, and executive functioning. We believe that our artist scholars learn best when they are helped to understand the sometimes nuanced connections between the learning of skills, strategies, and behaviors to the understanding of real-world issues and the addressing of those real-world problems. At SPA, we believe that mastery is achieved by first being confident enough to try, being brave enough to fail sometimes, being open-minded enough to accept feedback, and humble enough to ask for help. We believe that our artist scholars need to be disciplined enough to apply feedback to a process of continued improvement, and courageous enough to face your audience when the curtain goes up. At SPA, we believe that all of this is foundationed on relationships. As such, we commit to accepting you for who you are aspiring to be. We believe that as your teachers, we are your guides, and we hope that you take every single opportunity to learn from us and know that as you achieve, we also learn from you and you make us better. We expect that you will respect and care for your fellow artist scholars and learn from them as they learn from you. And that together with your families and our SPA community partners, that we make up your SPA family, and we will be there to support you and to push you and to encourage you when you need it most. At SPA, we believe in an integrated approach that combines research-based curriculum grounded in personalized, integrated, project-based learning that contribute to the 3 C's, which you'll hear very much about: college, career, and conservatory preparedness. We also believe that teaching and learning needs to be culturally responsive, and that cultural responsiveness is foundationed on diversity, equity, inclusion, and a commitment to social justice. Just last year, with the creation of our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, one of our first acts was to craft a statement that sought to embody our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it states, at the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts, we believe diversity, equity, and inclusion are integral and interdependent components of our work as artists, scholars, and educators. We will be an organization that actively works against all structures and systems that marginalize, harm, and oppress. We recognize that there is much work to be done, and we commit to the continual evaluation and development of our school systems in order to foster a culture of excellence where every member of SPA feels valued, supported, and inspired to achieve. So the big question is, are you a future SPA artist scholar? You just may be, if you get excited at the prospect of learning new things. If you want the opportunity to learn from passionate educators and seasoned performers and grow as an artist scholar through learning that truly challenges you, you may be a future SPA artist scholar. If you feel that you express an important part of who you are through the arts, or you know that success comes from trying and learning from each attempt, you just may be a SPA artist scholar if you believe that each individual can contribute to making the world a more just place. At SPA, we believe in the Artist-Scholar Credo, which states that as an artist scholar, I humble myself by entering each space with the mind of a beginner. I believe that talent is not a substitute for training. I understand that disappointment and discomfort can lead towards mastery and self-discovery. And I commit myself to the creation of meaningful shared experiences. And I also understand that I'm always auditioning. As an artist scholar, saying these words is a beginning of the journey of understanding these words and living into these beliefs. The whole notion of entering each space in the mind of a beginner means being open to learning, being open to failing, and being open to receiving feedback for the purpose of growing and improving. Understanding that talent is not a substitute for training means that anything worth having is going to involve hard work and practice. And understanding that disappointment and discomfort can lead towards mastery and self-discovery is what I've already talked about, which is that entering a space with the mind of a beginner means that your mind is open to learning, that in certain ways, ego is set aside in favor of soaking up and learning and experiencing as much as you possibly can. And that those instances where you find that your effort in the moment or your effort up until this point has not reaped the outcomes or the success that you were striving for doesn't mean that you give up, meaning that you reflect on that discomfort, you reflect on that disappointment, you reach out to the teachers and directors and peers whom you've grown to trust and establish relationships with, and you really explore what next is there for me to do to improve, to get to the next level. Because as an artist scholar, there's this understanding of it being a perpetual journey of evolving and of learning, of growing, and of failing sometimes, but learning as much as you possibly can so that the next attempt is more successful. And then the understanding of committing yourself to creating meaningful shared experiences means that you understand that you're a part of a community, that this effort, this toil, the discomfort, the disappointment, the success, the achievements, that none of it is happening in isolation, none of it's happening in a silo. And that as part of a community, that you have others to share these experiences with, and that you also play a part in creating some of those meaningful experiences, and that it's all meant to be cherished and used as material for the artist scholar that you continue to evolve into being. And the whole notion of always auditioning is just understanding that you never know when opportunities are going to present themselves. And so that our commitment is to always putting our best foot forward. Nobody feels 100% all the time, but what makes up for not feeling 100% all of the time are the skills, practices, behaviors, and attitudes towards being a professional and towards putting our best foot forward, which makes up for a lot when you're not feeling 100%. All of this pouring into that we are committed to for our students has an end of sorts, or a transitional end of sorts in mind, and that's our SPA graduate profile. You'll see our familiar SPA values of rigor, relevance, resilience, and relationships, and some of the beliefs that we have around expectations for our graduates, that our graduates will think critically and creatively to solve problems and be equipped to do that, that our graduates will apply 21st century skills throughout various disciplines to participate and prepare for a globalized world, that our graduates will embrace diversity and help to foster cross-cultural understanding, and that our graduates will use resources to advocate for themselves and for others in order to make choices based on integrity and self-reflection across disciplines. Our conservatory training program includes these 5 disciplines: theater, dance, vocal music, instrumental music, and production and design. Each of these disciplines has a 7-year scope and sequence of courses in each major, which are designed to prepare students for post-secondary training and careers in their chosen art. Remember, choosing your major is a very important decision. So please reach out and ask for input, ask questions, learn as much as you can before you make that decision. There will be opportunities to make changes if you so choose, but we prefer that our students learn as much as they can about the individual programs and make a choice based on the best information possible. The 7-year sequence looks very much like this for our theater students. In 6th grade and 7th grade, there is one arts-focused class along with our core subjects. In 8th grade and 9th grade, there are 2 arts-focused classes along with our core subjects. And in 10th through 12th grade, there are at least 3 arts-focused classes. And for a number of our students who have completed requirements in other subject areas, there are opportunities for advanced classes in the arts as well as core subjects. Our core subjects at SPA include the usual suspects: English, social science, math, science, Spanish, of course, physical education, health and wellness, as mentioned earlier, character building, and a focus on developing executive functioning skills. And as I've mentioned, there are AP and other advanced courses in both arts and our core subjects as well. Our project-based learning model focuses very much on authenticity and that real world and connection and relevance of the learning for our students and the ability to apply that. And this graphic helps to understand how we integrate that starting point of inquiry, of identifying and focusing on a particular challenge or a problem, and identifying an authentic audience to whom our students would present some form of a finished product to at the sort of culmination of research and work and collaboration and attempts and revision and continuing refining, ultimately resulting in a performance or a display of learning that is consumed and enjoyed by an audience of peers, of teachers, of community members, family, and loved ones. And as a performer, myself, we live for that opportunity to share, but we are sustained by the continual process of honing our craft, of practice and rehearsal, and learning new skills, learning new roles, and climbing new mountains in many different ways. Our program meets or exceeds the A through G requirements for the CSU UC system, so that as students matriculate through our program and graduate from our program, they, having achieved the SPA diploma, they are on the best possible footing to both apply to and be accepted to the CSU or UC system, but also any 4-year college or university throughout the country. It's a wonderfully rigorous program that robustly supports students throughout the entirety of your time with us. We pride ourselves on preparing students for that next level, whether it be college into the job market or onto conservatory training, if that's the path that you choose. Personalized learning at SPA includes a computer for every student, making us a one-to-one school. A heavily differentiated approach to learning through our personalized learning platform called Summit Learning. Individual and academic and social emotional mentoring for all students. Diverse ways to display learning and mastery. And as mentioned before, executive functioning lessons to support each student's journey to mastery. Here's a short video to have you learn a bit more about just how SPA does personalized learning.
Ignacio Estrada said, "If a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn." Who knows who Ignacio Estrada is, but his words are prophetic. Because in 5 years, classrooms themselves will learn about each student, then personalize coursework accordingly. Today, nearly 2 out of every 3 adults worldwide have not achieved the equivalent of a high school education. Of course, teachers do teach to individual student needs, as much as they can in a class that might have 30 kids. But soon, with the help of cloud-based learning systems, teachers' efforts will go much further. Imagine a system that knows you're a visual learner with a math phobia. Imagine also that you are that person. Not only will the classroom create a lesson plan to help you master algebra, it'll preempt difficulties in calculus and even tailor coursework toward a specific career, maybe even one that involves math. With time, teachers will be able to reach more students in more meaningful ways. And with students learning at their own pace, we'll move beyond grades, credits, and syllabi. I love it when I have the chance to say syllabi. It's the end of the era of one-size-fits-all education and the beginning of personalized experiential learning. And isn't learning what education's all about?
And at SPA, education is what learning is all about. At SPA, the life of an artist scholar includes our advisory community meetings once a week, in addition to one-on-one opportunities to have individualized mentoring and coaching with your advisor, robust socio-emotional supports, the expectation and the modeling of care for self and care for others. Academic mentoring, having a personalized program that's very much geared towards individual journeys to mastery still require robust supports as students are on different points in the journey of acquiring and utilizing the executive functioning skills necessary to be truly effective in a learning for mastery approach to education. As such, each student is taught and coached executive functioning strategies, that we are on this constant sort of cycle of study, train, practice, perform, study, train, practice, perform a new work or a work that we're revisiting because we've grown, we have a deeper sort of more nuanced understanding of what goes into the work. We look for really wonderful displays of student leadership across the life of school, from student clubs to school governance broadly, where relatively high level decisions that are happening about SPA programming or SPA activities, having students weigh in on them and having a significant impact on what the final product actually looks like. As I mentioned, the leadership of our clubs is very much student driven. At SPA, we look for a robust school citizenship culture where students are not only feeling seen, heard, and engaged with, but also being pivotal actors in the life of our school community and expressing a robust sense of connectedness and citizenship in many different ways. And ultimately, the whole notion of we're in this together, and our community, both in school and outside, thrives based on the inputs from each of us as individual through community service. Our dance program is headed by the dance director, Ms. Catherine Orloff. And the program offers a wide array of training from classical ballet to modern to contemporary. And it's a synthesis of building of a classical foundation with being able to sort of communicate through many different dance styles and dance techniques. Our vocal music program is directed by Miss Olivia Logan, and similar to our dance program, there is a classical foundation with a relatively traditional sort of entry to voice and beautiful singing through the bel canto style of singing, the learning of Italian art songs and on to French and German and English, and then jazz and musical theater, but really affording our students a well-rounded vocal building experience. Our instrumental music program is directed by Miss Rachel Lopez, and similar to our dance and voice program, is foundation again in the classical instrumental genre, but diverse to include both symphonic band, small ensembles, jazz band, and contemporary combos as well. Our goal is always to afford students many diverse experiences in their discipline as possible. And our theater program is directed by A.J. Mitchell. And Director Mitchell is very much a traditionalist in the sense of building strong actors, building strong vessels that are able to channel the necessary emotion, the necessary awareness of self, and the necessary understanding of whom they're portraying, to apply it to classical theater, to apply it to modern theater, to apply it to musical theater, and transition those into more commercial applications, where some of our students are, even as they are matriculating at SPA, are auditioning for commercials, auditioning for community productions, and auditioning for agencies as well. And finally, our production and design program is directed by Kayla Knowles. And this program integrates aspects of fine arts with visual arts, with theater arts, and really prepares students to go in a number of different directions in production and design, but ultimately as a technical complement to the performer. The P&D student is really the backbone of the production. And the structure of the program is intended to provide students with a diversity of experiences in creating art, in set building, in set design, in costume design and costuming, as well as lighting and sound, and how all of these aspects come together to support a successful production. Our first term academic conclusions show that SPA is performing on par or outperforming comparison groups in traditional academic performance metrics. Evidence also shows that SPA students' growth curve accelerates learning and closes achievement gaps that the longer the student stays at SPA, and that SPA remains focused on and committed to continual improvement of student achievement outcomes. We are fully accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. And this accreditation allows us to establish articulation relationships with tertiary level institutions as a provider of high school diplomas. As I mentioned earlier, our students, upon successful completion and attainment of a SPA diploma, has the opportunity to apply and be accepted to four-year institutions, both locally and across the country. And having learned a bit about the SPA program, and hopefully having seen some aspects of who you know yourself to be as a future SPA artist scholar, we will now hear from Ms. Lisa Kingsbury a bit about our enrollment process. Ms. Kingsbury?
Thank you, Dr. Chalwell. As mentioned, I'm Lisa Kingsbury. I'm the Director of Community Engagement, and I'm here to talk to you about our enrollment process. So first of all, what kind of student is a SPA student? So any student is welcome to apply. As mentioned previously in our presentation, we are a tuition-free public charter school. So anyone is welcome to apply to be a SPA student. But we really do believe that in order to be a successful SPA student, there are a few things that are necessary. Number one, a deep passion for performing arts and the ability to commit to an arts major. This does not mean that you need to have ballet lessons since the age of 3 or be a great pianist already. If you have a passion for your art, if you are willing to learn and be trained, then we would love to have you here at SPA. We also believe that you should believe in our mission and what we're trying to do. You should believe in collaborative learning. You should believe in personalized learning. And you should believe in a different way of education because that's what we do here at SPA. And lastly, that you want to be an engaged member of our community. We are a small school, a small charter school. We depend on all of our community members, from our staff to our students to our parents and guardians at home. We all come together to create the SPA community. So if all of those things apply to you, then you are the kind of family that we are looking for. So our enrollment process in particular begins right now and goes all the way through the beginning of school. It's a 9-step process, and don't worry, you don't have to memorize this chart. We're going to go through this one by one. So first is submitting an application, and applications are available right now. You can apply from today all the way through January 27th of 2021. So you would go to our website, which is cocospa.org. You go to our enrollment tab, and there are several drop downs. The very first drop down says Enroll Now. When you go there, there is an application form, and you fill out that application form. It's a very simple form that asks for very basic information. It is available in both English and Spanish. Filling out that form does not commit you to being a student or family at SPA, nor does it guarantee you a spot. It puts you in communication with our school. And once you fill out that application, then you start the communication process with the enrollment team. Step 2. So this is a mandatory step, and this is to attend one of our arts open houses. This is meant for our families to watch together, the student and the guardian and parents, so that you can understand what the different majors offer your student. To find this, you would go to our enrollment tab again, and it is the second drop down. It is Arts Open House, and there are 5 videos, one for each of our 5 majors. They are delivered by our arts directors, and they tell you about their program, their curriculum, and the kinds of things that you might do as a student within that major. It is really important that you follow this step so that your student truly understands what it means to be a dance major, a theater major, a production and design major, or a vocal or instrumental major. Step 3 is declare that major. So once you have viewed those videos, you would actually email Christina Bendroyo, and she is our registrar, part of our enrollment team. And you would say to her, we've watched the videos, we've sent in our application, and we would like to be a blank major, whichever one that you have chosen. This is a really important part of our decision-making process. This tells us that you are committed, that your student is committed to a performing art. And while you are in the enrollment process, you cannot change your major. Once you are enrolled as a SPA student and you've completed your first semester at SPA, then you are able to change a major, and we can go through that process once your student is enrolled in our school. But in order to enroll, you must declare a major. And it's a very simple email to our registrar. Number 4 is our public random drawing. And this happens on February 10th, 2021. If we have more applicants that enroll during our open enrollment period that lasts through January 27th, then we have to go to a lottery. So for instance, if there are 100 available spaces in 6th grade and we receive 110 applications, then we need to move to a lottery. If there are 100 spaces in 6th grade and only 98 families apply, then there actually is no need for a lottery and all of those families are accepted into SPA. There are a few preferences to talk about. So siblings of existing SPA students that are already enrolled in SPA that have a younger sibling, those students go to the top of the line. Students who reside within MDUSD boundaries, children or dependents of SPA employees, and then all other students residing in the state of California. SPA is open to all students of Contra Costa, but also students from beyond the limits of Contra Costa. Earlier in our presentation, Mr. McChesney showed you the map of where our students come from. So we really do have students that come from all parts of the Bay Area. Enrollment capacity by grade level is also based within arts major. So let's take that example of 6th grade again. So within the 6th grade, there are 5 majors. So if we're accepting 100 students, then we're going to accept 20 production and design majors, 20 dance majors, 20 instrumental, 20 vocal, and 20 theater. So if there are 25 applicants for theater, then we would go to a lottery to choose the first 20, and those other 5 would go on a waiting list. So the wait list is designed by grade level, by major. So we can't say something like there are 20 kids on the wait list. It would be there are 2 kids on the dance wait list for 6th grade, or 3 kids on the theater wait list for 8th grade. So it all depends on major and grade. Next step. This is the enrollment offer. So the next day after the lottery, immediately our registrar sends out our enrollment offers. And it is an email that is sent to the family that says, welcome and congratulations. And then a clock starts ticking. To explain that, number 6, you have 5 days from the day of the offer to accept the offer for admissions. So when that happens, the directions will be in the email. If you want to accept, then you start going through the actual registration process with our registrar, Christina Bendroyo. If you skip a step in the enrollment process, then unfortunately your application may be nullified and you would have to start the process all over again if we were to have a second enrollment period. Sometimes we do offer up a second enrollment period in spring, and we notify all families that were previously on our lists that we're open again, and then you are welcome to apply one more time. If this part of the process is confusing at all, please make sure that you reach out to the enrollment team. We're happy to tell you where the steps were missed. We're happy to tell you how to start again. We're happy to tell you where you are in the wait list if in fact your family is on the wait list. Number 7, complete the registration. So while you go through the registration process, you're going to be filling out a form with all the information that you would give to any school. You're also going to provide us those forms that all schools expect, immunization records, copies of grades and transcripts, and all that is gone through our registrar, Christina Bendroyo. Number 8, a placement audition. So we said earlier in this presentation that we are an audition-free school, and that is true. You do not audition in order to be a student at SPA. But once you are a student at SPA, we need to do a placement audition. And that is basically to see where your student is in terms of skill. Because we are a 6th through 12th grade and we have a progression within the arts, we are able to place our students based on their skill. If your student is at an introductory level, then they're going to be placed in the sort of introductory level course. But if they show aptitude to move up into a different arts course that's a little bit more challenging, then we do that as well. The placement auditions happen with our arts directors, and they will notify your family of the dates, and you'll arrange within that time period to come, and they'll give you what they're looking for. They'll give you, if it's a piece they want them to do, if it's a particular dance they want them to memorize, if it's a monologue, all that is going to go through an email exchange with our arts director, and then you'll come to the school, you'll do your placement audition, and you'll be told what point your student is going to be placed within our scope and sequence. Again, if you miss some of these posted deadlines, and if you miss these auditions, you need to be in communication with us, because if you just simply don't show up, then we have to nullify your application and sort of start the process all over again. And then here we are at the end of the process. Once the placement audition is complete, then you are officially a SPA student, and you will begin SPA as a student in the fall of 2021. And we're excited to have you here. So a couple things to review. Our website has all the information you need, and I really think that you should utilize the website to find all this information. So the first step is that Enroll Now, and this is what it looks like. And in blue, it says 2021-2022 enrollment application, and that's where you start your journey with us, where you begin that communication. This is the enrollment process that we just went through. You can scroll down on this page to read more about our policies and procedures. This is about information meetings. So obviously you've been here because you were watching this information meeting, but we would like to also invite you to some live events. We're going to have 3 live informational evenings. We won't be repeating this presentation. We're going to have a little bit of a different format. You're going to be able to talk to us in breakout rooms. There'll be some student performances and a little bit more sort of a robust exchange back and forth, plus a Q&A. So we welcome you, and there are 3 of them, and the Zoom links are on this page. Please register, and we will see you there. Also on our website, this is where you would find our open house videos. There are 5 videos to watch. We welcome you to watch all 5 videos. If you are absolutely certain that you are a dance major, then obviously watch the dance video, but it is informative to actually watch all 5 videos to just learn a little bit more about our complete program. School tours and informations. Obviously, our school site is not open right now, but we want to show you all parts of our school. So if you come to this page, you'll notice there are presentation links, so you can walk through the presentations, and there are also video links. So all the presentations are narrated by myself and various members of our staff and some students, so you can hear different kinds of voices. And also we have a special tab where we have some students speaking particularly about their art. So if you would like to hear from a dance student, from an instrumental student, from a vocal student, this is a great place to go. These are not very long videos, but it lets you know what kinds of students we have at our school and the kinds of experiences they have with us at SPA. And finally, you'll find the enrollment team, and that's 2 of us. So Christina Bendroya, who's our registrar, and she's the one that helps you through this process, and then myself. And my email is right there. You can ask me any questions. I am a founding member of the school, so ask me anything that you would like. But in particular, if you have questions about our academic program, our arts program, anything about our high school graduation requirements, career technical education, I'm happy to answer any and all of your programmatic questions. And if I can't answer them, I'll make sure that you get to the right place. And that's it. Thank you so much for visiting with us today. We really appreciate your time and your interest. And again, please reach out. Our enrollment window is now open, and we welcome you to SPA.